What's up, guys? If y'all are here, then that means that you guys are winning, and we're going to talk about how to start a marketing agency today. So I think my screen is all screwy right now. Thankfully, we think we're here. Thanks, guys, for showing up today, and let's do this. All right. Sorry for all the confusion and all the weird noise and stuff. Make sure you guys turn on the notifications so that you guys get them, and make sure that you guys hit the like button so that you guys get more of this stuff as well. But today we're talking about how to start a digital marketing agency. And this is something that I thought would be just helpful in coming and talking about because, well, frankly, a lot of people are worried about, the whole Facebook thing, right? And, there's that. And a lot of people are concerned about the bot ban and it's all, I guess, valid concerns. But for you, what I would share with you is that if your business is only reliant on Facebook, if your business is only reliant on, you doing chatbots, then it's going to be tough for you to succeed, long term. And for us, as much as I was a chatbot guy and I was a chatbot proponent, and I talked every day about chatbots and have almost 200 people in my accelerator program. For me, I never stopped learning how to do other things, right? And so, Lloyd, Julian, Phil, Ryan, what's up? If you guys are hanging out and tuning in, I'd love for you to share kind of on the stage of your journey. Do you feel like you're at a 1 or a level like at a 10 in terms of your journey in your like digital marketing career? Let me know, like if you're just getting started, if you're a 1, or if you've been doing this for decades, right? That'd be kind of tough for a lot of you guys. But if you feel like you're at the end of the road, put a 10. And for me, like as I asked that question, I think that I'm like at a 2, but I've been building a marketing agency for a little over a year now, and we've been able to service clients in over a dozen industries. We've been able to, and I think that like, that's really cool. We've been able to obviously do Facebook ads and funnels and chatbots and all these kinds of different opportunities. But I think for like me personally, it's allowed me to be able to pay for my wedding. It's allowed for me to be able to support my family. It's allowed for me to be able to allow my wife just to kind of like hang out and be a mom, and kind of just, be or get ready to be, it's like, it's all of those things for me is what a marketing agency really allowed. And so I think before anything, right, before we get into about some of the steps that I have, it's important to like get into it for the right reasons, right? Totally to get into it for the right reasons. So Wasily's been here for, Wasily, I cannot wait for this embargo to end. You're going to be excited about the bot. I have something, so let's set up a call very, very soon so I can walk you through where we're at. Wasily is actually a client of ours. Ryan says he's just getting started, so that's totally cool. Loy says a 2, and I think that that's really, really, that's where I found a lot of people are. So I wanted to be able to come and just share with you some things that are really, really important when you guys are getting started. So is that cool? Would you guys be interested in kind of just learning some things that have helped me to get started? And Kevin, that's why I'm here. So let's go into it, and I'm going to share with you. There are a couple of things that you need that like really need to make sure that get done. And I know that we're going to go back and it's going to be simple, okay? But I want to make sure that you have done this right. Like it's not about necessarily knowing the steps. It's about doing the steps, right? So the first thing is we've got to figure out what is our service or our offering, okay? Now, I got into just kind of talking about this, and I kind of got into teaching about this a little bit through chatbots, because what I realized is that chatbots are great, right? That's one thing, right? And once you learn how to click the buttons, and once you learn how to be able to, know how to set stuff up, well, it can only go so far. like the next aspect is how do you actually start building a legitimate business around it, right? Well, you have to define and you have to figure out your offering. And I get a kick out of this because a lot of people think that they have to do Facebook ads or they have to do chatbots or they're stuck or they're pinned into like only one option. And I love that, like, you know, Wasili and Brenny, who are on right now, they're promoting, you know, an affiliate marketing opportunity that allows you to create your own business, like in it, like they have like a business in a box, and that's basically like what it is it's a business in a box, and it makes it so easy for you if you are motivated and passionate about going out there, then you can actually provide this service or this offering, but figuring out what that is. Maybe it's website design, right? Maybe it's, you know, I've seen people do WordPress. I've seen people do Facebook ads, Google, you know, PPC, SEO. There's lots of different things. Hell, you know, take out digital marketing and put in whatever business, but the first thing you have to really define is your service. And the more that you get clear on what you offer, the better it's going to be. And the challenge is a lot of times at the beginning, like we said, like, we're going to offer marketing services. We're going to be, you know, we're going to be like these just like brand strategists. And although it was kind of like fun for us to say, it wasn't very effective because people didn't actually like need it, or there was a lot of people who were already, I mean, it wasn't very niche down. So like the next thing that we're going to talk about is niche, but getting niched in your service and in your offering is really, really helpful. And what I would tell you is, like, it's about getting nuanced in it. So once we started really honing in on the fact that we were a chatbot agency, and once we really started honing in on the fact that we were, you know, we did chatbots, that we started to take off, right? That's like really when we started to get a lot of business. And that's because, you know, we became the go-to people for that particular offering. And I think that even if you're not, you know, doing a ton of Facebook Lives, and even if you don't have, you know, a Facebook group or whatever, if you can be the Facebook person for your little town or for your city, or it's like, you know, right now we have a really good stronghold on Texas real estate agents. I have no idea why. We just have a ton of, like, we have great results in Texas, and people come to us from Texas, and it's like, it's really, really interesting. So if you're a real estate agent in Texas, probably get your results. I was just talking to one of our agents earlier today. And he was excited. So Carlene, let's see, all you guys promote to panelists. Kevin, all you guys are able to unmute. So if you ever want to unmute and chime in, we have some people who are on the Zoom from our accelerator program. So you guys have free reign to unmute yourself and cut me off and ask any questions about this stuff, because I really wanted to give kind of an overview, because I saw that a lot of people are in this place. And for me, I really lagged through these steps, right? I lagged through this process. And if you don't, and if you don't get clear about it, you can just languish in you can just languish in shittiness forever, right? That's really what happens. Okay, cool. So let's see. I'm gonna see. Do I have any questions here? I want to see if I got any questions. Let's see. Chris says we started with the plain botting, and then fast went the result service, deploying the bots as part of those different services. Yeah. So what I found is, like, what's really, really interesting is that when you are a digital marketer, the best digital marketers, like, don't actually talk about digital marketing, right? Because it's not very like very few people are interested in digital marketing. I saw this ad today. It was really, it was a terrible ad. It was great effort. And I knew that these people, they watched, like, you know, some Russell Brunson, you know, webinar or whatever, and got all jazzed up about creating a marketing agency. But it was the most, like, not only was it a terrible video, all they focused on was social media. And it's like, I get it. Some businesses are interested in building their social media, but a lot more businesses are about building their teams, right? I think about Wasili, right? Wasili is actually someone who's on the call right now. He's an amazing team builder, right? He's a great leader. He's a teacher. He's someone who helps people to create a business, through affiliate marketing, through, offering these tools that are available to everybody, right? And so the reason I say that is that you've got to figure out what it is that you are really, really providing. And then it makes it easy to kind of go and promote that over and over and over again, and to take it to all the different areas, right? He's got, people out in, Spain, he's got people in the US, and when you're able to define your offering, and when you're able to define your niche, all of a sudden it starts to build credibility. All of a sudden it starts to build expertise. And so by really, really sticking, right, like defining your service and your offering and defining your niche, you can start to really build on that credibility. All right, let's see who else is here. Phil, Julian, what's up, guys? Sherlyn says team building. Team building is so huge, guys, right? So if we want to talk about this, like we definitely can. I'll tell you one of the I guess if there's 4 steps, right? So let's go to the third one here. It's prospecting, and we can talk about any of these things. Throw down which one you guys want to talk about. I'm going to do service or offer. Okay. Which one do you guys want to talk about? You can put S, N, or P, right? S, N, or P. And then if you guys are accelerators, Trina, good. Thanks for hopping on. Kevin, Aisa, Carlene, you guys can just unmute yourself, and you guys can ask any questions that you guys want. This is your guys' time, but I felt bad that I hadn't told you guys about it. So I thought I'd share it with everybody because, I don't know. I thought that would be what the universe wanted, frankly. All right, Kevin says S. So service and offering. Okay, so going back to that, right? Like think about what businesses want, right? Like think about what businesses are really like on a day-to-day basis. A real estate agent, he's trying to sell more homes. On a day-to-day basis, a dentist is trying to get more patients. On a day-to-day basis, right? Like that's where that's where their head's at. That's at least what that's what they're thinking about on a daily basis. They're not thinking about Facebook ads. They're not thinking about lead forms. They're not thinking about chatbots. They're not thinking about it. Like they're thinking about how do I get more patients in the door, right? So that I can, go on that vacation, or so that I can spend more time with my family or whatever. Like we really have to take a step back and realize that what we're providing is not Facebook ads, is not a chatbot, is not PPC. It's not a website. It's like, that's not like how we should look at this. The way that we should look at it is like we're providing some sort of result for them, right? So let's do that, right? Let's go in here and let's say that that's a better way to look at it, right? So you want to be talking about their results, right? What are they going to be getting out of it? And if you start there, well, all of a sudden you're going to have a lot more people, who respond. So guys, quick engagement plug, okay? Apparently Facebook turned off automatic notifications. So if you want to make sure that you guys get notified when we go live, make sure you guys turn on notifications. Obviously, if you guys are in the accelerator program, sorry for these weird plugs, but it is what it is. I've been trying to figure out how to continue to support you guys, and it sucks if you guys can't see the videos. Brenny says P, Shalyn says P, Amanda says P. Okay, let's talk about prospecting. We've talked a lot about that over the last several days, but I think that you can never talk enough about prospecting. You can never talk enough about sales. And for me, prospecting, it really comes down to 2 things, right? It's 3 things. It's an art, it's a science, right? And then at the end of the day, it's a construction. Let me tell you what I mean by that, okay? I'm gonna write those down because I feel like I stumbled upon some wisdom, right? It's art, it's science, but then I also want to, the reason I call it, it's construction. And let me tell you what I mean by that, okay? If you think about prospecting, right, there are lots of ways that you can prospect. Prospecting is everything from the Facebook ads that you see on your feed to all the way to the billboards, to the commercials, man, to even prospecting is even what is it, Wish, like all the brands that are on the NBA uniforms now, right? Like that's all of that is prospecting. So it's everything from literally physically knocking on someone's door, walking into someone's business, all the way to these kind of branding, right, opportunities that a lot of businesses and corporations take advantage of. So realize that there is an art there, right? There's an art. And what I mean by that is that there's it's strategy, right? It's definitely, it's context. It's where are you putting these ads? I laugh at some of these commercials, right? Like especially radio commercials are the absolute worst, because I laugh at like how irrelevant some of these radio commercials are. And I'm wondering, like, are any of these things getting any traction? You know what I mean? So like context, context is so important, right? Context is so important where you're putting your ads. But then the second thing is content matters too. If you're getting in front of the right people, if you're getting in front of your your target audience, but then you are not saying the right words, if you are not saying if you're not appealing to them the right way, if you're not connecting to them the way they want to be connected with, then it's going to fall on deaf ears, right? Let me give you a perfect example. We're doing an email campaign, right, where we've sent out probably a few thousand emails to a particular niche. And it's just like, we've sent out a ton of them. We know that this is their emails. It's just, they are not responding, right? They're just like, we're not getting responses back. And so for me, what that tells me is like, all right, well, what we've got to do is we've got to go and tidy up the art, right? We've got to fix whatever language, whatever verbiage, the communications, right? It's like we're getting like a 34% open rate. So people are opening it, right? The context is there. It's like, it's effective in terms of reaching them, but it's not landing in terms of doing it. And this is a big thing that a lot of businesses experience, is that they're like, oh, Facebook ads don't work, right? And you guys have probably heard that, right? You guys have probably heard, oh, whatever, if you've been in marketing for any amount of time, you've heard that Facebook ads don't work. Well, what is usually the result is that they did a shitty ad. Like I see all of these ads on my newsfeed that are absolutely garbage, and I'm like, you're spending money on this ad? Like that, like I can't believe it, right? Like it's gross. Like if this is converting at all, like I'd be shocked. But usually what's going to happen is that people are going to say that, oh, Facebook ads don't work, and it's because of the art. The art wasn't there. So let's see. Is there any other questions in here? Let's see. Who else is on? Who else is? Junie, Kelly, Jennifer. What up? What up? Luke, Alexander, all you guys. Paul says, is this going to make me a multi-billionaire in 6 months? If not, then I'm not interested. Probably not, guys. Like the thing is like marketing agencies are, they're fucking hard to build, guys. Like it's not easy. Like I think about it. We've been at this for a year and some change, and I've had a partner who is like just as like one of the few reasons why I partner with him is because he's like, I could tell that he's just as dedicated as I am, which is very hard to, like, those types of people are very hard to find, because I'm a lunatic when it comes to this stuff. But we've been doing that for a year plus, right? And like now we're kicking. Like now it's like, all right, we're rolling. We've done like $6,000 or something like that in the last 2 weeks. Like it's like, and we're consistent, right? Before it was like, boom, we'd have a $5,000 week, and then it would be like, oh, we'd be cold for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then like, boom, we'd have a $4,000 week, and then we'd be cold for like a few weeks or like a month, and it would be like these like hot and cold, where we go out and make money, lose the clients, make money, lose the clients. Like now what's great is like we're like, not only are we consistently holding on to clients, right, which is one aspect of it, but now we're consistently adding on new ones. So it's not like we're just replacing the ones that we lost, right? Like I think that, I don't know if you have to go through that stage, but we did, where it was like we'd go out, we'd prospect hard, we'd get the clients, we'd fulfill it, then we'd hooray, we'd celebrate, woo, we made some money, woo, we got some money in the bank account. Oh, like our campaign, like, what was really interesting is we had campaigns that absolutely fucking crushed, right? Like like crushed. Like we would show any other marketer, any other person in this industry, and they would be ecstatic to have these results. And these people were just unsatisfied. And it's like those things happen. However, right, you can't just be like, oh, throw up your hands and, you know, why did you, you know, cancel? Why did you do this? Here's a story time. You guys want to hear a crazy story? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about crazy fucking marketing stories times. All right. So we had a one particular client in a niche that is I've talked about extensively. And what happened was we signed them. They were actually a referral. And from the very beginning, things didn't look good. They were very, very difficult. It took quite man, it took like I remember just signing them took like I had all these questions, like random questions, like, man, even getting like the Facebook page set up was just like the literally the most difficult thing. Like, all right, so finally, okay, we got it set up. All right. So then we launched the campaign, right? We launched the campaign and boom, crushing, right? Like 90-cent leads, like boom, like things are rolling in, like literally one of our best campaigns ever in one of the most expensive areas in the country down here in Southern California. And it was like absolutely crushing. We're thinking like, we're using this as case studies. We're capturing all the screenshots. Like, this is awesome. Well, a month goes in and then they're like, well, this isn't working. And we're like, wait a minute, like, what do you mean it's not working? Like we have all, you know, we had all this data to show them. And for whatever reason, they chose not to continue on, right? And, you know, I think they paid us a month. But then here's the craziest part, okay? So we said, okay, you know what? No problem. You're a crazy client. We're just gonna let it go. And you go your way, we'll go our way. You know, thank God. That's what we said. And then like 3 weeks later, we wake up and there's like $2,000 deducted from our account. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? And we look and they put in a fraudulent, they put in a claim to their credit card company saying that it was a fraudulent charge and that they didn't receive the services. And it was like, we took them all this evidence, we showed them all these things, and good old PayPal, you know, didn't have our back. But in the middle of that, right, like the reason I say that is like in the middle of that, like we had to keep prospecting. In the middle of that, we had to keep building. Like we could have very easily like thrown up our hands and been like, oh, well, fuck, there, you know, there's $2,000 that we already spent. Let's just call it off. But instead, we hustled a little bit, scraped some deals together, like dug ourselves out of a little PayPal hole, and now our bank account's like the biggest it's ever, you know, it's been. We're like, this is exciting that we've been able to do this without any, you know, credit, without any loans. And it's like, people ask, how do you fund a business? Like, go out and sell shit, you know, go out and sell stuff, get someone to pay you, and then you can do it. So I don't know why I decided that story was valuable to share. I don't know. But I say that because, like, Paul's question was, is this going to make me a, you know, multi-billion dollars in 6 months? And it's like, it's not. What I love is, like, I love marketing. Like, I love marketing. Like, I love, like, no matter what it is, right? Like, you give me, I don't know, you give me this pen, like, if this pen signed this on as a client, I'd be like, fucking A, that's awesome. Like, I'd find every exciting little fucking thing about this pen. We'd launch a campaign. We'd do influencers. We'd go in and, you know, man, honestly, we'd probably launch an all-out assault on offices around the world. We'd go out and we'd probably find all of the, you know, Instagram people who are, you know, into like productivity and are always taking pictures with like their journal and their pen and like all that. Like that gets me excited. So for me, it's like, I told my agency today, like, I just gave, like, I had an extra, like, some, like, the money that people paid me, and I just gave it to my agency. Cause like, for me, it's not, I don't know, money is great for sure. But for me, like, I love that it lets me do these things. Like, that's even cooler for me. So you got to build it for the right reason, right? That's for sure. All right, let's jump in here and see if there's any questions. Brandy's had that happen with Stripe and no one to talk to. Yeah, it's, you know, it's like these these moments like where shit hits the fan, like they're like gut check time, right? And I remember back like before I was in digital marketing and when I was building my brick and mortar business, there was a moment where I was literally crying on my office floor because like it was like, man, I'm going back to that moment. I'm like, Jesus, like it was like, do you give up and like roll over and go like, fuck, I lost? Or do you go, fuck, this sucks, but like, I'm not gonna lose. And like, do you like dig deep and like keep going? And it was like, at that moment, I could have, shut down my organization. I could have, chalked up, the loss. I think I owed a couple $1,000s in rent or something like that, right? And it was like I could have just been like, I suck, and not run a business, or I don't know what would have happened. But it was like, I'm not going to roll over because of this, right? And it was some crazy circumstances that happened. But by the next year, like that year, we finished up, and then the next full calendar year was the first year that our sales organization did 7 figures, right? And when we did 7 figures 3 years in a row for the next, obviously 3 years, right? 2014, 2015, 2016, we did over 7 figures in sales. And it's like, if I would have given in, right, at that moment, like that would not have happened. And there's going to be so many moments when you are building a marketing agency, especially in the marketing world where everybody likes to fucking, excuse my language here, I'm sorry for all the lady, you know what, I'm not going to offend that. But I'm not going to do that. I don't need to. But when everybody is just, when it's a big stick competition, okay, let's just put it that way, right? When it's a big stick competition on Facebook, that's really gross. And I find myself falling into that sometimes, where it's like, how I made $10,000 and whatever. Like that shit is so disgusting, because the challenge is that they didn't have the post where it was like, yeah, I made $30 for 2 years. And then I had this like you only see these posts about all of this grand success. And so just being mindful of that aspect is so important too. When it comes to, when it comes to building a business, like all of like, this is strategy, right? The service, the niche, like the prospecting. But if you don't continue on, it makes it challenging. Let's see. I got some questions in here. Let's see. Chris and Karen says, don't focus on the money. You're absolutely right. And you need a plan. You need a why and a plan. So for me, I don't know, is this valuable, guys? If it's not, I'll talk more strategy, and we'll talk more digital marketing, and we can talk, we can definitely talk more specifics. But like, this is, I guess, what if there were something that I'm really passionate about, like, yeah, it's helping people build businesses. And for me, what it always comes down to is 3 things. It's a why, it's a what, and it's a how, right? That's like, there's 3 things that you need in whenever you're doing anything. When you're teaching something, like when you're leading somebody, like if people know why they're doing something, people know what they're doing, and people know how to do it, they'll much more often do it, right? So whenever, for me, like whenever I'm like our agency, 4 people, right? It's a rather small agency, but it's me, my partner, who's, sales guy. We have a graphics, and then we have a GBA who handles just kind of like, everything. And she's just amazing. But for me, it's like, I don't ever just try and dictate things, right? It's like as a leader, like I never just dictate like stuff. I always am letting like people know, like, hey, here's why we're doing this, right? I want to give you context to what's going on, right? And then here's what we're going to do, right? Here are the overall steps. You're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. And then here's how we're going to do it, okay? So here's how you're going to do that. You're going to do this, and this, and then you can do this, and this. Like, so if you can have this concept of why, what, how, you're always going to make sure that people understand things. So that's huge, Chris and Karen. That's they hopped on there from the Accelerator program. So I'm going to make sure that you guys have talking privileges here, so that if you guys want to chime in, you can. But if you guys have any questions, honestly, I'm just here for y'all, talking about whatever you guys want to talk about, whether it's building a business, whether it's getting clients, whether it is whatever it is that you want to talk about. We can ask questions. Let's see here. Katya says, Those unfortunate events prove you're right. You have to be one of the real, you have to be top of the next mountain. You need to be at its bottom. I get it, but you're saying yes. A lot of those challenges are really just the summit to the next pinnacle. How long have I been talking here, guys? Well, I guess since our accelerator call, we can keep going. So Chris and Karen, they're one of the accelerator members. They said that you become the people who you are nearest to, the 5 people you surround yourself with. And I think that is, man, that's so true. And it can be a blessing with the internet, and it can also be a curse with the internet, right? You can really surround yourself with people who are thriving, or you cannot, right? That's huge. So Colleen says, what are you using to send out your emails? I believe we're doing InMail. I believe we're doing InMail. I don't have the specifics in front of me. Like I said, my partner handles that aspect of it, but I believe we're using a software called InMail. And as far as I know, it's amazing and it's great right now for specifically email. So that is a question from Carlene, who is an accelerator member. All right. Okay, can you guys, I want to make sure that you guys are seeing the right stuff. Yeah, you guys can see the right stuff. All right, cool. What else should I talk about here? Let's talk about the next aspects of it, right, of prospecting, which is the construction of it. And I guess I've kind of been hinting at it, which is like, you've got to keep going, right? Like that's the biggest thing is you've got to build on it, right? Prospecting is not something that can happen. Well, prospecting is not something that usually happens overnight, and it usually doesn't happen very quickly. I think about prospecting like planting seeds, right? And you throw out lots of seeds, right? And I think about there's I'm not very religious anymore. But I remember, I believe it's a religious story. I don't know, probably not, but it doesn't matter. There's that story of those seeds, right? Who they blow. And I remember, I feel like I learned it at church when I was a kid, right? Like the seeds blow and, some of them land on hard ground. Some of them land on, weak ground. Some of them get, stepped on. I don't remember even what happened. But the point is that out of all of those seeds, some of them get planted and some of them get, turn into trees. And it's understanding that you are putting out lots of seeds, and you don't know which ones are going to do great. You don't know which ones are going to get stomped on. You don't know which ones are going to grow slowly. You don't know which ones are going to grow quickly. For you, prospecting is about consistently going out, putting those seeds out, and then watering them, right? And then watering, whatever that means, following up, getting those people on phone calls, like you don't just throw out seeds and then all of a sudden, you've got a farm. It's like you throw them out and you tend to them, right? That's really what I think about sales as, is kind of this farming and harvesting aspect, for sure. Let's see, guys. Is there any? Carlene, so yeah, we're using this, and so what we're doing is we are having one of our team members go through and find publicly available emails. I don't know what scraper tool we're using right now. We use RoboContact as an easy one. And then we upload those into InMail, and those go into, basically we're using a G Suite account, right? So we have our domain, and then we bought a G Suite account so that we can send out a ton of emails from one Gmail. And I think it's like $5 a month for the account. So that's how we are able, we pair the softwares up a little bit, and that's how we're doing it. So I would do your research on for me, I know our softwares, right? You can use RoboContact to send out those emails. You can use Text in Bulk to send out those emails. Those are definite ones, but I would just encourage you to just do some research on those types of softwares. I don't, I'm not an expert in that. So I don't know what would be the best. I just know right now what's working for us. However, you may find something better. Sure. So Jamie says, yo, Hector, what happens when you don't have a specific niche? Is it important to have a niche? So absolutely. Great question, my man. So guys, here's what I ask. All right. For those of you guys who are on, let's see, I've been on for 35 minutes, so I'll go for a little bit more because we're in the accelerator. But for those of you on the Facebook Live, make sure you guys turn on the notifications. Apparently, Facebook is not notifying people of my lives anymore, so make sure you guys get the notifications. Let's talk about why niche is so important, though, right? And niche is really, really valuable for a number of reasons. But I'll tell you the very first reason is that it gives you credibility, right? Even before that, right? We're going to talk about focus, and we're going to talk about, it gives you some direction for sure. But I think that the number one thing that having a niche does is it gives you some sort of credibility. I think that's the biggest thing that you'll gain from being within a niche, right? Like right now, what's great about our agency is that because we've stuck to one niche for so long, we've been able to get results. We've been able to get case studies in that particular niche. And so now it gives us some sort of authority and expertise so that people are actually coming to us now, right? It's like the challenge is you keep switching niches over and over again. You're never able to build up, a steady flow of, a steady volume of results and case studies, right? But then the second thing is that it does is that now people don't know you as like the guy, right? Like for even still now, a lot of the clients that we've signed, what's interesting is we don't actually do any more like outward, outgoing prospecting in the real estate niche. But because we've killed it for so long in so many different, niche, what am I looking for? Areas and locations, like people are still coming to us, right? We're still getting referrals. And the last two campaigns that we've launched are real estate, right? We're not doing any prospecting there. Zero outgoing prospecting, zero emails, zero, actually, there may be some LinkedIn connections still going on, but it's like very minimal effort. But they're coming to us because people are referring us. Hey, I heard this happened. Hey, so what it does is it actually creates a ton of authority and expertise for you to be able to rely on as well. Not to mention like the case studies, right? Like I love that now when I stick in a niche, right, with especially with real estate, like it's super easy because I don't even really have to think about it anymore. It's like, all right, what area in? All right, cool. What zip codes? All right, cool. Let me go to work. I already know what's going to work. I've done it dozens of times. It's like literally slap it on, change it up, right? Find some new pictures, bada boom, bada bam. Here it is. And so at that point, it makes it really easy for you to be able to scale because now in terms of creating those campaigns, it doesn't take as much time, right? Like I love working with different clients, right? We just brought on, another information marketer. We also have another affiliate marketer client that we have. We also have another, let's see, what other kind of, I'd say those are the two most kind of abstract ones or non-traditional if there were a tradition at all. And for those, it takes a lot of time to build. Now, that's my passion. I love getting creative and figuring out, trying to how to crack the code. However, in terms of speed, right? In terms of not only of fulfillment, right, but in speed of return, right, in terms of results that I'm going to get the clients, it's great when I can turn on a campaign. I think it was, what's today, Thursday. So Tuesday night, I flipped on a campaign that I finished up. I emailed the client. I was like, hey, the campaign's on. I woke up. We already had our first leads in. It was like, oh, here it is. And we already had, multiple leads, right? And some good results. So I didn't have to wait. It wasn't there was no testing period. There wasn't do we know how's it going to go? It was like, no, you turn it on, boom, right? Another campaign, we switched it on. I had our agent come back to me today, and he was like, Hector, what did you do? We were getting so many more leads over the last 7 days. What did you do? And I'm like, oh, we changed this up and we changed this. And he's like, and it's like, it's easy now because I've done it so many times. So although some people might not want, there's like for a long time, I really fought against like really niching down because I was like, I don't just want to work with dentists or I don't, but at least when you're building and when you're starting out, it makes it a lot easier to garner results. All right, guys, quick engagement plug. If any of this is valuable and you're on the Facebook Live, hit the likes, make sure you turn on notifications. Carlene says, what kind of conversion rate are we getting on that? I'd imagine, Carlene, you're talking about the email. Less than 1%, right? Like less than a percentage, for sure. So like that's why you need to send out so many. Is you need to it's really like it's not like there's some levels to conversion, especially when it comes to cold email, right? So with that being said, Carlene asked a great question. I want to address this in a couple of ways. Did someone unmute themselves on the
Yeah, it's me, Kevin.
Hey Kevin, what's up, man?
Yeah, I think what you say is correct. But however, for me, because I'm the newbies in this area, and actually, so when we try to select a niche, it looks like every niche looks like the same. And in our area, I really don't know which niche I'm going to pick up. So that's why. So that's why at this moment, I just say, why not I just throw all the information out and see which industry or whatever interested, and then I focus on that niche. So at this moment, that's what I'm trying to do. But I like
that idea. Can I give you some more direction?
Okay, yeah, please.
So Kevin, great point. And so what Kevin is essentially saying is like, he doesn't have a niche. He's brand new. He's at the beginning. And Kevin, you actually kind of did what we did at the beginning, where we just kind of put it out there, where it's like, hey, we're starting this whole marketing thing. We'll kind of take whatever agency and then kind of see what happens from there. And I think that's a wonderful plan. Let me share with you what I would change in regards to what I'm talking about here. A lot of what I've talked about here is cold prospecting, right? It's like a lot of what I've talked about here is, cold emails, cold LinkedIn, cold, because there's no excuses with cold, right? It's like you can start it and it's a great way to get your feet wet with at least prospecting, with at least, having some of these conversations. However, Kevin, for you, what I would encourage is instead, if you are going to take that route, right, and you're not going to focus on a niche, you're going to kind of take a broad array, as opposed to going cold, what I would really do is focus on what I call hot or warm leads. And I don't just call them that, but in the sales world, you have cold leads, right? That's where cold calling comes from. That's when these people have no connection, no relationship with you. It's out of the blue, right? And that's why when I tell Carlene, she asked me, what's the conversion? I'm like less than 1%, like tenths of 1%, right? Like we're not looking at conversion on that. We're like looking at, all right, how many people are opening it? Okay. And then out of those, how many people are opening it? How many people are responding? Like we're taking micro conversions, right? And that's why, because the conversions are so low. However, if you start with people who know you, and what I call like hot is either people who have done business with you or who already trust you, right? People who have already given you money in some sort of capacity, whether it's in a digital marketing role or if it's like they bought Girl Scout cookies from you, maybe not from you, Kevin, but you get my point, right? Like they've just already given you money and now they just have to see the value in what it is that you're offering, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say like for example, let's use this. All right. So I used to sell home goods, home products, right? Just like housewares and stuff like that. Well, one thing that was really, really interesting is that someone who bought house goods and house products from me back when I was like 18 years old, right? Starting my very first sales business, they actually became a marketing client 6, 7 years later when I started my marketing agency. And guess what? I didn't have to reconvince them that spending money with me was a good idea. I just had to show them, or really they just had to see that that their business fit my service offerings, right? And so what I mean by that is that, like, if you have already had someone who has, like, maybe it's even another boss, right? Someone who's already given you money and they haven't regretted it. Start there and go through that, right? And it's like, okay, if there's anybody in that list of people, right? Former employers, even grandma, right? Grandma who, gave you a $20 bill, or anybody who has given you money and has not regretted it, right? Those people are what we call hot leads, right? Even like, it could be friends, gave you $5 to go get, on a pizza run and you didn't blow it, okay? My point is, there's this group, this list of people who we do not have to convince that we are trustworthy enough to give our money. Kevin, do you see that? Do you see that? Like, do you at least understand those group of people?
Yes, I know what you're saying, but most of these people is I give them money, not they give me the money.
Oh, okay, so that's bullshit. All right, because I'm gonna throw you on the spot here. How old are you?
50. Give me a second, please. I have a phone call.
All right. Well, I'm gonna blast you down, everybody, then, because here's the thing. For the last 50 years, whether it's your grandma, whether it's an employer, whether somebody has supported, you, right? But so that is really, really like we can't, I don't know, like when I say that stuff, like for you guys, if you're on the live call, like you can't give me an excuse, right? Because even if that group is 2, 3 people, like here, let me give you an example, okay? When I was starting my original direct sales business, okay, old school affiliate marketing without the internet, I called my elementary school principal and sold her shit in her house. Not shit, sold her stuff in her house. Called my principal, okay? So when people go, oh yeah, but no, that's just a fucking excuse. So Kevin, I hope you're still on the call because I love you. I know that wasn't directed at you. I'm doing that to everybody to say that if you have that mentality about this, you're never going to succeed. Because if I say, okay, we got to make this, like, here's the group of people we need to find. You go, well, there's none of them. Okay, bullshit. You're just not trying hard enough, right? So we got to start there, all right? Maybe that group is 2, 3, 5 people. But if you're over the age of 30, okay, then you've had to support yourself somehow, and it's usually been more than just your parents. So that's why those people are there, okay? Now, maybe those people do not fit your niche. Maybe they don't fit. They don't have a business. Maybe grandma doesn't have a business. Maybe my employer doesn't work with digital marketing. Former employer, like maybe those things don't work. Maybe my good friends who would who've loaned me $20 or whatever in the past, or have bought me dinner or something like that. Maybe those people don't own businesses. Okay, you could say that, right? Let's get to that point. Let's say, okay, we've only got X amount of people who are on our hot list, right? In terms of, man, these are ideal prospects. They own a business. They're looking for marketing, right? Because it's probably not a lot of them. But there's some, especially if you're going to go, okay, we're going to spread it wide. Okay. Somebody out there who owns a business. The second stage, right? Second stage is we can ask for what we call our warm leads, right? Now, there's like 2 types of these warm people. The first type of these people are the people who are not quite, like, they haven't given us money. They don't trust us quite yet, but they're friends, and we have that connection and that relationship enough to easily start the conversation, right? Whereas they own a business, and we would just, like, they already know us. They know we're not a serial killer. They know we're not a total weirdo. It's like, hey, by the way, I'm starting this new thing, all right? It's actually, I'm doing it for people just like your business, or businesses just like yours, and I'd love to show you, right? And I'd love to just kind of talk with you for 15 minutes about it, ask you some questions, and see, how you guys are doing, right? Like, don't make it about a pitch. Have a conversation with them first, right? But now you have this group of people who you can now reach out to, right? And at least they'll take your phone call, right? Now you might go, oh, but that's scary. What if they say no? Yes, a lot of them will. Sack up, you know? And it's like, it's if that is like, remember, say that's why I start with cold, because with cold stuff, all that stuff goes away. People don't have that excuse. People don't care about what those people think about them, right? Because they don't know them. But for some reason, right, we automatically can't, like, all of a sudden we get really nervous because we're starting a marketing agency and we're afraid of what they're going to think about what we're, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's ridiculous. So sorry if this seems a little harsh, but I'm trying to squash every single excuse that's out there for you so you guys can go out there and make some money this freaking weekend. All right. Kevin, are you back from your phone call? If you are, feel free to unmute yourself and chime in. I got a little excited here. All right, let's see. So the other group of warm people are referrals. All right. So maybe grandma doesn't own a business, but maybe grandma loves us and will do everything for, you know, anything for us. So you go to grandma and you say, Grandma, I'm doing this marketing thing and trying to help businesses get more customers. Do you know anybody who owns a business, right? And grandma might own 3, 4, it might know 3. Oh yeah, actually I know a guy, he owns a bakery down there. And then, you know, my friend, she owns this restaurant. And yeah, grandma knows 5 people. Okay, grandma, awesome. Hey, do you have their phone numbers? Yeah, okay, cool. We have their email addresses. Where do you have their addresses? Whatever, get their contact information, right? Follow up with them, right? Hey, grandma, do you mind if I text them from your phone? Do you mind if I text them from your phone? Or if you have to call grandma, right? Maybe you have to call grandma. And you go, hey, you know, grandma, go, let me walk you through it. Here's what I want you to tell him. Hey, my grandson, he's starting this new business and he can help, he's helping, you know, bakers with stuff. And he just wants to give you a call. Is that okay? And I would just tell him to introduce you, right? Just kind of like that 3-way introduction. That's all we're looking for, right? You do that with grandma. You do that with mom. You do that with ex-girlfriend. You do that with ex-boyfriend. You do that with what, like, you just go through and you ask people. And it's like, once again, we're constructing, right? We're constructing and we're going through and we're hustling, right? This is a hustle, okay? Like, aren't you glad that you don't have to freaking sell drugs to be able to make money, right? Like to think that, you know, I watched some of these documentaries and I watched some of these stories of people and that was their entrepreneurship. That was their affiliate marketing, right? Like, think about that. You don't have to do that in order to do that, but you can't have excuses either as well. So warmed up prospects, Chris and Karen says that warmed up prospects are the best because here's the thing. If they are like if you get introduced from grandma, right? And then okay, so grandma texts her friend and says, hey, you know, my grandson's gonna text you, is that okay? And then it doesn't even matter what they say, okay? It doesn't even matter, right? If they don't respond, great. If they respond, great. You follow up with them, you call them, you send them an email, you send their Facebook message, hey, I'm so-and-so's grandson, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm friends with, you know, whatever it is, right? You work these people because they already have that connection to somebody that you know. And when you talk to that person who's been introduced by your grandma, all of a sudden, all of them, is this person a sketch figure? Is this person a scandalous figure? Is this right? All that stuff goes out the door, and they're just sitting there going, what are they doing for bakeries? What are they doing for dentists? And they're going in with that mindset because they've, like Chris and Karen said, they've been warmed up. So this is huge, right? This is a big you know, opportunity. And so if this is right, the reason that I started this is Kevin initially said that he's brand new, and so he wants to kind of he's not tied down to any niche, and so he wants to just kind of see what niches like work out. And I think that that's totally cool. But that's actually what we did. And the way that we did, you know, what happened is we ended up working with a swim instructor. We worked with a real estate agent. We worked with a CrossFit gym. We worked with what else? I think that was it. But all 3 of those people, okay, the swim instructor I went to high school with, okay? The real estate agent was my music teacher in elementary school. And the CrossFit gym was a former friend from my old company, right? So all 3 of those were like warm, like that's who we started with, okay? So if you're like, oh, but cold email, oh, but cold, like none of these things are working, well, like, okay, that's fine. Go back and start with the people and either go back to that hot list, right? Who do I know who's the closest connection that I have that owns a business, okay? Right? Reach out to those people, okay? And then and then once you reach out to all of those, okay, expand to reaching out to people and literally one by one, calling them, hey grandma, how are you? How are things? How's it, whatever, talking. Oh yeah, well the reason I'm calling, I know I never call, okay? The reason I'm calling is because I just started this new thing and I really need your help. Do you know anybody who is a business owner like this? Or do you know anybody who owns a business? Or just, whatever. It's super simple at this point, right? But you can't, like Anais says, you can't have excuses, right? You cannot have excuses, especially when you're selling. Sterling says, what kind of people do you want to work with? Who do you want to help? What are your interests? I'm not quite sure. So I would imagine that those are questions that you ask. Maybe Sterling, if you're still there, give me some clarification on kind of what you meant by that. Anais says, how do you find your niche? That's a great question. I'm going to wrap up with this because it looks like we've been going for a little while. I think about niches in two ways, right? The first is I think about either passion or expertise, okay? You can either work with a niche, and I think I've shared this with you, Anais, and I would encourage you to go back to it and drill down, right? And really build on it and stick to and execute it, right? Because I feel like we've had this exact conversation, which is you got to either pick something that you're passionate about, right? Like maybe you are passionate about like I have a friend, Alicia Israel, right? Shout out to you, man. Who's founder of the Digital Revolution Group, and he's like super passionate about helping the earth and the world, and helping companies that are sustainable. And so he's going into that industry, and he's passionate about making these phone calls. He's passionate about the subject. When he talks to these business owners, he shares the same passion that they do. So he's willing to go above and beyond, right? Because he actually cares about helping these types of businesses. The other way to pick a niche is based on what you're good at. Like am I passionate about real estate? I'm interested in it for sure. I don't know about passionate, but I'm good at it, right? I know how to make a good real estate campaign, and get leads, and it's like I'm good at it, so we stay there and we keep taking clients, and it's like it's not the sexiest industry to be in, but they keep paying us, so we'll keep doing it, and it's easy. So that's what I would say, right? Passion or expertise, right? Those are the two ways that you can do it. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions that came in here? Guys, if you guys are on the Facebook, make sure you guys hit the notifications so that you guys get notified when this goes live or when we go live. And then hit the likes and the loves so that Zux knows that this is not a shitty video. And by the way, you guys might actually be watching this on YouTube in the future. So make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, because we are putting, if you guys if you guys get lost with all my Facebook stuff, everything's on my YouTube channel. So I have 0 subscribers on it, by the way. So I just put them up there because people are like, is there anywhere I can just watch the videos? So our wonderful team takes them down and puts them up on YouTube after. So go look us up there. Wow, Wasili, Anais, thanks for all the love, guys. I can't believe you guys stuck around and listened to me for an hour. I'm just so humbled that you guys would do that. Let's see if we have any other questions here. Okay, cool. So Kevin, what I would say, I'm reading your stuff here, man, and it's what I would share with you is that it's never enough. Okay, if I were to go, okay, here's what one story, I don't even know, we have hundreds of we put out hundreds of lines, right? If you think about fishing, you put out hundreds of lines, and you got to put out hundreds and maybe thousands of seeds you don't know. And if you don't have clients right now, and if you're not backed up with client work, what the fuck are you doing with your life, right? If you're not spending time with your family, right? If you're not working out, all right? If you're not you're spending time with people you love, if you're not working out, what the fuck are you doing with your with your life, where you're not just sending put on some Gary Vee and go in and just start messaging business, just it's a numbers game at this point, right? And I love you, Kevin. That's why I'm kind of pulling this out of me because I needed someone. I was very, oh man, when I first started in sales, I was the excuse maker, and I made up tons of excuses about all the reasons why I couldn't get sales. And one time my mentor just had to show me of all the excuses that I was making and the reasons that they were bullshit. And after that moment, I realized that I had a lot more control over it. And so it's like, man, I mean, maybe that's why I'm so like, for me, it's like hard to relax, because if things aren't like, if I'm not like, very rarely am I where I feel we should be. Like, I think that happens like once every like 6 or 7 weeks where I'm like, oh, like let me chill for a few hours. Like that happens like very rarely. Otherwise, it's like, fuck, like what else can I do right now that can move me a little bit forward, right? And if you are not having that mentality where it's like, what can I do? Not like, what can't I do, right? My family used to tell me that I'm a Mexican, not a Mexicant, right? So Kevin, you can have that, okay? You're a Mexican, all right? Oh, that's so funny. All right, guys. So thank you, Anais, Brenny. I appreciate you hanging out. This was a little stronger than most, but I feel like, and Kevin, hopefully you don't feel picked on at all, because I know that there are a lot of people out there who are not taking the action that they should because they're putting a problem in front of them that isn't actually there. They're actually creating a problem. They're creating a challenge that frankly isn't actually there. They're saying, I don't have people to call, when it's not. That's the wrong answer. I don't have people to contact. I don't have people to talk to. That's the wrong answer to ask, or wrong question to ask. The correct question is, who can I talk to, right? And if you ask that, and most of you guys are very innovative and creative people, so your brain literally will control you, both good and bad, by the questions that you ask. So if you tell yourself, I don't have anyone to contact, it's going to go, yep, you don't have anyone to contact. But if you just force it to ask itself, who can I contact? And you just ask it, and you just go, who can I contact? And you take a moment, and you just sit there, and you go, oh, there's that person. Oh, there's that person. And then Kevin, the most important step is to fucking do it, right? Is to actually contact those people. There's so many times where I think about that stuff, right? And I go, oh yeah, I should do that. And then I don't do it. And then it's like, for whatever reason, I'm great on having tons of ideas, but I am not as great at actually executing them. So what I have to do, like I'll show you guys here, like literally, what I have to do is like have a like notepad in front of me with like all of the stuff, like literally all the stuff that needs to get done, right? Otherwise it won't get done. And I'll write it down, and it'll be a running list of stuff. And as I get it done, I'll highlight it. And if it makes it to the next page and I haven't done it, then I will rewrite it, and I'll rewrite it again. And I hate rewriting shit. So I'm like, ugh, So this helps me to stay on track of what I do. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to take my system. Don't take my system. Get your own, or take mine. I don't care. But the point is to take one or to use one that works for you. All right. I think we're at the hour mark. Everybody's pretty much dropped off. I love all you guys. So I appreciate it. Brenny talked about how action was the topic of her call. Yep, action it's strategy and action, right? It's the clouds and the dirt, right? Gary says it's the forest and the trees, right? You've got to know in the forest where you're going, right? You got to be able to navigate the forest. But then you've got to know the trees right in front of you. You got to be able to navigate in between those right in front of you. So it's about having this long-term vision, but then daily activity. Long-term vision, daily activity, right? That's huge. I love it. Chris and Karen, you guys are awesome. Always throwing in good stuff. They said, just do it. Do not wait. All right. So if you guys have any other questions, now is your chance. My dog's name. It's kind of funny. let's see. If you guys have any questions, now's your chance. Otherwise, hit the subscribe button. Get the notifications button so that you guys get notified of this stuff. Likes and loves. I mean, guys, I just always appreciate your help with just creating this this brand. Like I realized, like if nobody watched, like and nobody tuned in, like nobody would tune in. Like it's a snowball effect, and so like I need you guys to get more viewers. It's really interesting. So I'm just grateful that you guys decide to stick around and think that it's worthy enough to listen to my rants. I want to see any last questions here. Questions. So Jay Daniel, how do you go about market research for a new niche? Here's a quick answer, okay? You need to figure out what are their needs, right? What are their needs? What do they need? Okay, what are they trying to get? What are their desires? Okay, what's behind that? Like what's the business need, and then what are they actually trying to get to, right? So it's like, okay, like for example, let's talk real estate agents. I know real estate agents. I know that they need leads, okay, but what they really want is financial freedom. So it's like that's step one, but then step two behind it is financial freedom. So I need to know that their needs are more leads, their desires is financial freedom. So I need to know both of those things. I also need to know their challenges, okay? I need to know what are their challenges, right? Like what are they currently, what's the industry currently doing that's making it suck, like it's making them suck. I need to know their challenges, like, oh, well, real estate agents, they're fucking doing it on, you're spending money on bench ads, you moron. Well, of course it's not getting a return. Oh, you're giving all your money to Zillow, and then they're charging you to give you your leads back. Okay, yeah, no wonder you're not doing shit. Oh, your Facebook ads look like dog shit. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's why it's not working. So you've got to know, right? Like, can you see I spent some time in the real estate industry, and that is their issues. That's their problems. So knowing what their challenges are so you can talk to them, and you don't say it like that. You don't rub it in their face ever, of course. You're compassionate, right? You don't ever even talk about them directly. You're just like, other people in the industry, other agents, other dentists, other people are doing this stuff, and they're in their head, they're like, oh, that's actually me. So you don't ever talk about them, but you've got to know what's going on in the industry. And then the fourth thing is you got to know their language, okay? You got to be able to speak their language. You got to know their lingo, the vocabulary, right? Like when we talk about like farms, right? Like, you know, people go like, what's a farm? Well, to a real estate agent, they know exactly what their farm is, right? Like a farm is an area that they are farming for leads, right? That they're constantly marketing to. So when we go, oh yeah, how are you currently marketing to your farm? They go, oh, this guy knows the lingo, right? Like this guy gets it, right? So just understanding their language, even something as simple as like, what do your customers, or what do the businesses call their customers? Do they call them customers? Do they call them clients? Do they call them patients? Do they call them members? What do they call them? What do they call them, right? Like it would be silly to go, hey, real estate agent, I can get you more customers. He's like, what the fuck? No, you can't. Like, I don't even have customers, right? But if you go, hey, real estate agent, I can get you more buyers. He's like, oh, that's what I want, right? Because that's what he calls customers. So you got to know the lingo. Great question. And Chris and Karen says you got to learn it in and out. And the great thing about sticking within a niche is that like you get to create relationships, and then you can start to ask for referrals and all that stuff. So Katya, thanks for hopping on. I appreciate you. And I think I'm going to call it, guys, because I like to keep these nice and tight and short. So Carlene, Kevin, Trina, all you Accelerator members who hopped on, you guys are my soul. I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out. It means a lot. So I want to make sure that you guys are continuing to get value. And the rest of you guys who are catching this on the Facebook Live, you guys suck. Join the Accelerator program. I'm just kidding. I love you. I'll talk to you later. And the rest of you have an amazing weekend. I'll be hanging out with Rob Kiyosaki this weekend. At least everything goes according to plan. It should. So I'll have details for you. Or I'll have feedback and reports for you soon. See you later.